Welcome to Bird Seeds, and as always, thank you guys so much for joining. It's Joe Bird. Totally different type of episode today. Got an opportunity this week to do a TED Talk style type thing at a really awesome event put on by DK Law, Diana Kahn, huge fan of hers and everything she does. It was called Wealth and Wisdom. It was an all-day speaking event. They had the Black Swan Group come in to be the keynote speakers. If you're not familiar with the book, Never Split the Difference, it's the company around that. Awesome stuff. A lot of really inspirational speakers and stories from our local real estate community, from agents to entrepreneurs to flippers to investors to contractors to all the above. Just really, really, really great, motivational, exciting content. I was honored to be asked to speak. The whole theme of it was, wealth and wisdom. So it's not just the wealth, it's everything else that goes with it. It's the wisdom of those that have come and done it before us. We can all learn together, big motivation and celebrating the stuff that isn't the shiny stuff, not the money side of things, but the actual mentality and all that stuff. And the real theme was redefining success. So anything you're going to hear on this, I took a recording of it. That's what we're going to call this week's episode. There's nothing new you haven't heard yet. But it's doing it on stage in front of a bunch of people was kind of fun and kind of really cool. And it seems like I got a really great response and connected with a lot of people. So without further ado, I'm going to play that and hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know. Drop a comment. Take care.
Hey guys, my name is Joe Bird. I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a real estate agent, and I'm going to share my story with you of how I redefined my success. So go back December of 2021, best year of my real estate career. 110 units, $50 million in sales, personal production, plus my team production. Had 3 surgeries in December, so I decided I was going to take the month off, and I was going to celebrate with my family and just celebrate the best year that I had in business. And as soon as the noise calmed down, when you go out of town, it takes usually 3 or 4 days for the phones to stop ringing and emails to slow down. And, I'm thinking this is going to be the best month. Holidays with my kids, with my family, business is great, money's great, awesome. As soon as the noise kind of calmed down, I realized I was miserable. I wasn't living the life that I wanted to live. Yes, I was successful. Yes, I was making money. Yes, my business was doing great, but I wasn't doing it. I wasn't that dad I wanted. I wasn't abusive or anything like that, but I wasn't emotionally there. I wasn't the husband I wanted to be. I love my wife to death. We were great, but I wasn't there emotionally for her either. And I frankly wasn't there for myself. My health wasn't good, hence 3 surgeries in the month of December. So it really kind of hit me hard. I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting this great time and really had to slow down and think, what can I do to live a better life, to live a more profitable life, not just a profitable business, but a better life. And I realized I was working 80 hours a week. I was working 6-7 days a week for my career at that point, about 10 years in the business at that point. And great, I'm proud of myself. I worked really hard, but I realized my success was only because I worked harder than anybody else. It wasn't that I was smarter. It wasn't that I did anything different. It wasn't that I did anything better. I just did more of it. And that's not sustainable. And that's not taking care of myself, taking care of the others. So in this moment, I realized, man, I am addicted to being busy. Being busy is distracting me from the emotions I don't want to feel, from the fears that I have in life, from the guilt that I have in life. And when I get home at 10 o'clock at night and I'm going all day and I'm on the laptop until midnight and I fall asleep on the couch and I wake up at 7 a.m. and I get up and I go do the same thing again, I didn't process any of those things. And I'm on to the next day. That fed a really great, profitable business, but it didn't feed a great life. So I've been on a mission since December of 2021, maybe you can say arguably January of 2022, to rebuild a better life, to rebuild a better, profitable life. And that's the journey that I've been on. I'm so glad I look back at that. It's been a really hard 5 years. I'm not going to sugarcoat those 5 years. It's not a linear, gradual or, just straight shot to be where I want to be. Pendulum will always go too far to one side. I had some really rough business years after that where I just focused too much on the family, too much on me. And I feel like I've now finally found that right balance between everything. And I want to point out, work-life balance can be a misnomer, but I think the hustle culture that we have in the real estate industry is not healthy. You see posts all the time, I was guilty of it. Does your agent answer the phone on Christmas morning? Does your agent answer the phone on Thanksgiving? Will your agent show you a house New Year's Eve at 10 p.m. at night and not be there with the kids to watch the ball drop or kiss your wife when the ball drops? It's important that we work hard for our clients, but we need to respect ourselves, because if we don't take care of ourselves, that's what I learned in that moment. We can't take care of the people around us because we're not taking care of ourselves. So that journey, again, I look back at it really hard, but I am so grateful that I've gone through that journey because I'm in a really great place. I'm with my kids all the time. They both do travel sports. That's a huge commitment. Travel softball, travel ice hockey, probably two of the toughest travel sports out there as far as time commitment goes. I go to almost all their games. I go to almost all their tournaments. I'm there with them. I prioritize that. My wife and I probably have never been in a better place in our marriage. We've been married for, I should know the number better off the top of my head, 16 years, coming up on 16 years. And I don't think we've ever been in a better place than we are right now. And it's because I'm able to turn it off. Now, some of the things that I did in order to get there. So the first was the realization of this is the problem. This is what I have to solve. This is how I have to be a better version of me. How am I going to do that? Mindfulness is everything. So I really lean into mindfulness. Kind of frou-frou stuff, meditation, yoga, acupuncture. It's been a life changer for sure. So I came up with what I call jamming, because the way my brain works, I have to have a name on something in order for it to make sense and be repeatable. So I started my daily routine. It's called jamming. J stands for journal. So getting those emotions that I would tend to repress and those thoughts out of my head onto paper, onto an app. There's a really great app called Journal. It's on your iPhone. It prompts you with pictures and trips and memories that really kind of jog that memory and journal it down. The second A stands for agua, which is I try to drink a gallon of salt water a day. I wasn't taking care of my body, hence the surgeries, so that forces me to take care of my body and drink that water. The first M is for meditation and mindfulness. The second M is for movement, again, health related. I have lots of chronic pain issues, and that movement can be limited. So my movement is walking. I try to walk as often as I can. The next, the I is for intentionality, making sure that the things that I do are moving me closer to my goals. When you're trying to manage your time and be present with those around you, your clients, your friends, your loved ones, all those things, you can't say yes to everything. It's impossible. I learned in this method, in this mode, if you say yes to everything, you don't have a business. You have to learn how to say no or delegate those things that aren't driving you directly towards your goals. And then the last one is novel, stands for reading, just trying to better myself, listening to a book, frankly, watching a TV show, something that I can get my brain into something that's better. It's, again, moving me along. So those are the daily affirmations, the daily things that I really like to work on to make sure that I'm moving in the right direction. I also started a podcast. And the podcast is for business. It's great. It's selfish. It's called Bird Seeds. They're 5-minute episodes. They're basically just, seeds of thought, wisdom, nuggets of wisdom, just little aha epiphany moments that I go through. And the fact that I do it weekly forces me once a week to slow down and say, what did I learn this week that's going to help me move forward? And I just talk about it. I frankly don't care if anybody listens to it. I hope they do. I hope people get something out of it. But it's for me. It keeps me accountable to make sure that I'm focusing on those things that are good. I've never been in a better place mentally. I've never been in a better place physically. Again, I have some chronic health issues. I've been able to slow down and get those figured out because I spent the time doing them and spent the time taking care of myself, getting to the right doctors, advocating for myself. Not just saying, yes, you have 12 herniated in your back. Here are some drugs. Good luck. No, I'm not going to do that. That's not going to help me. That's solving problems with problems. Advocating for myself to say, who's the best doctor that's going to take the time to figure this out? And I've been able to get past all that. And in that journey, I've gotten my headspace right. I've really been able to kind of focus. Again, it sounds selfish, focus on me, but it's focusing on me so that I can take care of those around me and make sure that my kids have a dad that cares and loves, and they know that. Make sure my wife has a husband that cares and loves, and she knows that. And to make sure that I'm here to enjoy my life as they get older. So part of that realization, I realized I was working towards this retirement, working towards security. The lie that I told myself was that by providing the finances for my family, I was being the best dad because my kids were going to have an inheritance. I was being the best husband. My wife was going to have money if I were predeceased or whatever. I'm going to get to retirement, and that's when I'm going to enjoy life. But that realization was, I'll get to retirement. I'm probably going to die because I'm not taking care of myself. I'm overweight, I'm not healthy, I'm not eating right, I'm not drinking right, all those things. My kids are probably going to hate me because I never went to a sports game. And my wife's probably going to divorce me. So all this I'm doing because the lie that I told myself is I was avoiding my fears and my anxiety was I was doing it for them, and it was never true. So I want to celebrate that I was able to get past that. I was able to focus on myself in a way that I could then take care of them, get everything, get my headspace right, get myself in the best position I've been in. And frankly, I mentioned earlier that I was doing the same thing the same way everybody else was doing it. And now my creativity is back. I'm back to playing music. I'm back to have my hobbies. I'm back to being an entrepreneur and figuring out a better way to do it, but it's already been done. I'm a disruptor by nature. I grew up as a punk rock kid, started my first company when I was in college to disrupt the music industry. We did that. I lost that. I was just doing it because there was more money in doing it harder, and now I can do it better. I have a couple startups that I've started. I've gone out on my own. I'm now an owner of a brokerage. I separated. I was in the team. I now have my team. It's allowed this freedom in order for me to do more, be able to profit more in each thing that I do, with the freedom to think differently, be creative, and make the world a better place. So don't just build a wealthy life. Go, thank you guys.